everyone and welcome to Module 9, European Legal Framework on EDI in Employment. Today we will be looking at examples of best EDI workplace practice. The aim of this presentation is to provide examples of EDI workplace best practices. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to identify key European directives that inform EDI workplace practice and apply one of the EU EDI directives to workplace practice. Starting off, we will give an overview of EDI workplace practice encouraged by the directives. Next, we will look at the European legal framework for EDI in employment, followed by the key directives that inform equal, diverse and inclusive workplaces. Next, we will give an overview of the employer obligations to enforce inclusive policies and practices, followed by the impacts and benefits. Lastly, we will give best practice examples of employers that implement EDI, including Accenture and IKEA. EDI workplace practice. The EU EDI directives aim to create a more inclusive and equitable work environment across member states by setting clear standards and regulations for equality, diversity, and inclusion in the workplace. They cover a range of issues including discrimination, harassment, and equal opportunities. Legal framework. The directives are part of a broader legal framework established by the European Union to ensure that all employees, regardless of their background, have equal access to employment opportunities and fair treatment in the workplace. They build on existing EU laws and complement national regulations. Workplace practice key directives. Important directives include the Equal Treatment Directive, which mandates equal pay and treatment irrespective of gender, and the Employment Equality Directive, which addresses discrimination based on age, disability, sexual orientation, and religion or belief. Employer obligations. Businesses are generally required by law to implement policies and practices that promote equality and prevent discrimination in the workplace. These obligations exist to ensure that employees are treated fairly and are protected from discrimination based on factors such as age, gender, race, disability, and religion. Enforcement and compliance. The directives outline mechanisms for monitoring and enforcement, including the role of national equality bodies and the possibility of legal action for individuals who experience discrimination. Employers are expected to comply with these standards or face potential sanctions. Workplace practice, impact and benefits. By fostering a more inclusive workplace, the directives aim to enhance employee satisfaction, improve productivity, and contribute to a positive organizational culture. Embracing EDI principles can also boost a company's reputation and competitiveness in the global market. Best practice examples of an EDI workplace. Accenture. Accenture's commitment to diversity and inclusion has generated significant recognition, including the highest scoring company on the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index, number 3 on the Refinitiv Diversity and Inclusion Index, number 6 on Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For, and 15 consecutive years on the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index. Accountability and transparency. In 2016, Accenture became the first professional services company to publish comprehensive data about its US workforce. Every year since then, the company has shared its workforce composition by gender, race and ethnicity, persons with disabilities and veterans. Combating racism. Accenture continues to make progress toward its 2025 goals to increase African American, Black, Hispanic American, and Latin representation among its workforce and its leadership. To foster inclusion and belonging, Accenture's anti-racism training and building bridges discussions help educate and create safe spaces to talk about race in the workplace, and vibrant employee resource groups help strengthen the company's culture of equity. To date, 97% of Accenture employees in the US, Canada, Ireland, South Africa, and the UK have completed mandatory training on identifying, speaking up, and reporting racism. Pay equity. Accenture has dollar for dollar 100% pay equity for women compared to men in every country it operates. Likewise, by race and ethnicity, Accenture has dollar for dollar 100% pay equity in countries where such data is collected, the US, South Africa, and the UK. Gender equity. More than 300,000 women work at Accenture globally, representing 46% of the workforce, 47% of new hires, and 32% of executive leadership. Disability champions. Accenture's accommodation support tool helps people easily ask for assistive technology, flexible work arrangements, sign language interpreters, screen readers, and more. The global, first-of-its-kind tool is currently available in 39 of Accenture's operational countries, with more being added. Accenture's Disability Inclusion Champion Network has more than 35,000 members worldwide, coming together regularly to collaborate, network, and support the community. Best practice examples of an EDI workplace. IKEA. For many years, the world's largest furniture retailer, IKEA has prioritized efforts to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion. At IKEA, gender equality is viewed as a human right. The company is dedicated to achieving gender equality across all levels and positions within the IKEA group, which goes beyond a 50-50 gender balance at all levels and positions. This commitment is rooted in the belief that an inclusive culture is essential, where everyone is recognized for their unique contributions. Their ambition is to recruit, develop, and retain talents to reflect the demographics of the communities they operate in, while also aiming to create inclusive work environments. IKEA has been actively engaging with gender issues for over 10 years and is proud to be involved in the UN High-Level Panel on Women Economic Empowerment. This initiative aims to unlock the potential of women, enabling them to participate fully in the economy and gain financial independence. Gender balance IKEA. Looking at data from 2020, 49.5% of all leaders were women, and 54.7% of all co-workers were women. In fiscal year 22, a new IKEA People strategy was introduced, creating a common direction for all IKEA organizations and IKEA co-workers. One of the 3 focus areas in the new strategy, entitled An Inclusive IKEA, puts focus on EDI throughout business practices. In fiscal year 22, IKEA made progress in achieving gender balance across its organizations. 6 out of 12 franchisees took action to increase the number of women in their workforce and in management roles. 4 out of 12 franchisees has filled at least 50% of management positions by women. Within the Inca group, a major part of IKEA, women made up 50% of managers and 45% of CEOs. Furthermore, women represent about half of the members in management teams across 30 countries. IKEA is dedicated to fostering gender balance at all levels and functions within the company, including in management teams and boards. IKEA, working with social enterprises. IKEA has partnered with social entrepreneurs, creating thousands of jobs for underrepresented groups around the world. IKEA sources handmade products crafted by women artisans at the Jordan River Foundation, which enables women who live in Jordan, including those who are refugees from Syria, to have a sustainable livelihood. These social enterprises provide training, employment, and income opportunities, enabling these women to support themselves and their families. IKEA has also launched the products from a partnership with Cytex, a social business in Vietnam. Cytex actively recruits and trains youth from disadvantaged backgrounds and persons with disabilities. It also adapts the industrial production set up to suit people with different needs and educates employees about the variety of needs on site. These social enterprises provide training, employment, and income opportunities, enabling these women to support themselves and their families. The EU EDI directives aim to create a more inclusive and equitable work environment across member states by setting clear standards and regulations for equality, diversity, and inclusion in the workplace. The directives are part of a broader legal framework established by the European Union to ensure that all employees, regardless of their background, have equal access to employment opportunities and fair treatment in the workplace. The directives outline mechanisms for monitoring and enforcement, including the role of national equality bodies and the possibility of legal action for individuals who experience discrimination. Employers are expected to comply with these standards or face potential sanctions. Here you can see a list of the references used throughout the presentation. These sources will assist you in researching more deeply into European equality, diversity and inclusion directives, and best practice examples of EDI in the workplace. Thank you for listening. I hope this presentation has provided you with a deeper understanding of European directives and how they impact us in our working lives.